Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, presented by Tuckaseegee Fly Shop, with locations in Bryson City and Sylva, North Carolina. Be sure to follow the crew on Facebook at Tuckaseegee Fly Shop, Instagram at Tuck Fly Shop, and YouTube at Tuckaseegee Fly Shop for all the latest information and instructional videos. Be sure to visit tuckflyshop.com for all things fly fishing in Western North Carolina and beyond. Remember, the online store is always open. Today's episode is sponsored by CE Tech Innovations. Located and machined in North Carolina, CE Tech Innovations machines fly tying bases and accessories that allow you to take your fly tying vise to the next level. Check out all the great products at cetechinnovations.com. Today's special in studio guest is Josh Brady and Mr. Brady at Brady's Handmade Nets. I'm your host, Shannon Big Mess, joined by Bobby the Bearded Wonder and Dale Diesel Collins. And everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Tuckcast, guys. Good to see everybody here once again.
What's
Absolutely.
up?
Absolutely.
You fellas can say hello.
Hello. Hey, guys.
You got to talk to the mic, though.
Thanks for having us, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
So, good to have you guys.
Now, we should mention that that this one here, for you folks watching on Facebook Live, this is a we hope this is a trial run with that. But remember, if you're driving in your car and you're listening to this, you can find this video posted later on YouTube, and you can watch all the different camera angles
Somebody's
and things like
here.
there. So that'll be good.
Somebody's phones.
Do we have ducks in the house?
They're ringing.
Yelp,
I
yelp.
hope that's a duck.
Is that a yelp, yelp? I want the yelp, yelp man in here. You better be glad it's not duck season.
That's funny.
If it's turkey season.
Are you letting the ducks in? What are you doing
Yelp, yelp.
over there?
Yeah.
Yelp, yelp. I tell you. So absolutely. So remember all those platforms that you can follow us on. Be sure to subscribe to social media. Give us a like. Give us a share. And if you have any comments, please understand that. Now, remember, you can find us there on YouTube at Tuckaseegee Fly Shop, as I mentioned earlier, Instagram as well. And I think Bobby is putting those things up there for you folks to see where those.
We're trying to.
things
Hopefully,
like that are.
hopefully we're on Facebook Live right now. We're not 100% sure because all of our phones are used as cameras. So we can't check if we're on Facebook Live. But if we are, we are. Jack's checking it. I actually just saw somebody give us a thumbs up. So
Awesome. Cool. I wonder if we can see questions if they see
yeah,
questions.
they should come up.
All right. So, folks, if you have any
There's
questions.
Jack just said, "What's up, fellas?"
Nice. Thanks, Jack. Hope everything's going
How's
well.
the weather where you are, Jack?
Storefront. Absolutely.
Jack's about 50
Yeah.
feet from us.
Yes. So yeah, I'm excited to have. We have some wonderful people here with us. Josh Brady, Mr. Brady from upstate South Carolina, and Dale's going to dig deeper into what they bring to the table here. And I want to say this before we get into maybe some of our local happenings here. It's an honor to sit beside you, gentlemen, in learning your pride that you take in what you do and your story. What you folks make, in my opinion, is a work of art and something that should be handed down through generations.
That's right. Wow.
And I seriously mean that.
Yeah, they are. They're cool. We got some pictures we'll throw up later here.
And I think that something in some cases gets lost in today's time. And I'm glad that you folks are going down that path and really brought that out there for sure. It could be something where, it could be given as a gift. And then later down the road, it's almost like a bamboo rod that gets handed down and handed down, that heirloom piece there. And I appreciate that, the quality that you folks do. And we're going to hit on that, but just kind of set that up a little bit for what's in store here. Hopefully set the hook for you folks there. Want to stick around and listen to this awesome story. But we got some news yesterday from the governor of North Carolina, and Bobby's going to hit on that just a little bit, just a smidge. Not exactly what we wanted, but it's a step in the direction.
So just kind of go over some of the stuff that we've already got. All the waters are open now. Cherokee waters open, North Carolina waters open, national park waters are open. So everything is open to fish as long as you have the proper fishing license.
And you don't have to have a mask on while fishing. The
CDC
they
clarified
confirmed that trout cannot get this mess.
Yeah. So you should be good in that aspect. As far as lodging, it seems like it's by establishment, so some owners may or may not be renting rooms, but they are allowed to. So, call whoever you usually stay with or whatnot and see what's up with that. As far as the new stuff, a lot of you probably already heard this, but as of Friday at 5 p.m., Phase 2 starts for North Carolina, and restaurants can be open at 50% capacity. Now, bars and there was theaters, a couple things like that still can't be open, but it looks like we can all go get our hair cut, except for Dale. He's good. But we can actually get a haircut because salons and barbers and stuff can be open again.
The Gillette never closed.
Yeah. So
Mach 7.
that's kind of what's going on in that aspect. Unless I've missed something, you guys can mention something if there's anything y'all know about that we missed there.
What was the deal on cinemas?
I think it's just that whole.
Are they 50% or
no? They're completely closed still.
Closed.
Yeah, along with bars. And there was one other thing. I can't remember what the other one was.
I saw somebody post last night, like, what's the difference between a bar that serves food versus a restaurant that serves beer?
So a bar, like Nantahala Brewing, they can be open.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, because
I
they
think
serve
they're going to
food.
try to have both locations open and have phased
Yeah,
step.
sure.
That's kind of the buzzword of 2020 is phase.
Well, I think the buzzword should be as Americans in this country with liberties and things like that, most of us are educated enough to make an intelligent decision on whether we want to go out or not go out, and I think that's where we're at. But
And you have to balance consideration of others in there too.
Sure,
Yeah,
and I think that not to go down that rabbit hole, that most people do that.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it's what we got to work with. And that's what we'll work with.
I can tell you the trout ain't been social distancing lately.
No, they haven't. That's good. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's a great thing.
So yeah, that's the local happenings.
Good deal. So I guess that means I have to get a haircut.
You don't have to do
I
anything.
don't think I will. I might get it trimmed up.
See if you can go all of 2020 without a haircut.
Oh, I probably would be divorced.
Ooh, it'd be tough. You'd be like you'd be looking like Roethlisberger. He said he wasn't going to trim his hair or beard until he could throw a pass again, and he finally did it because he could throw a pass again.
And he got in trouble. He got called out. He got called out by the governor. So yeah, the longest my hair's been, if the hat was off, you would see I've not had this much hair.
Josh has got a good beard
since
going
I was in
he
junior
does.
high. So yeah,
He's kind of always had that though, haven't you?
It was like 3 years in the making, though.
Yeah, nice.
It doesn't grow anymore.
yeah. I
So is
did.
this.
Yeah, I cut mine off. We talked about CDC recommendations, but I did did shave it off there. But it's well on its way coming back. Jack, I'm sorry you can't reach that part in your life yet. But,
Hey,
I'll cover that for you.
Jack, do not feel alone. I only have to shave twice a week. So
There you go. So anyway, so Dale, I know you've had the opportunity to use the Brady's Handmade nets there for quite some time now, and we're going to kind of turn this over to you a little bit and let you take over, boss.
So I guess what's it been? 2 years? 3 years?
It's been a while. It might be more. Than
Yeah, I started using one of Josh's nets, and again, it's Brady's Handmade nets. And man, I was blown away. The craftsmanship that's involved with this. You can see the passion that goes into making these, and there is a lot of function to it as well. And I think the neatest thing is how you can make these custom. Every order you can put some little detail on there. That makes that net unique, as opposed to now. I love our fish pond nets, the Nomad nets that we sell here in the shop. But I think there's nothing better than having that wooden net out there on the river. That's very functional. So when I got my first one, guys, I was afraid to use it. It was so pretty. It was just like Shannon said, it's a work of art. So I just didn't seem to really want to mess it up. But I definitely took great care of it. So, and I've got one here. I'll just highlight real quick so everybody can kind of see. I don't know how this is going to show up, Bobby.
You're doing good.
So
That's perfect. They can see the logo.
This is kind of like a boat net, guide net. It's long handled. Talked to the guys about putting in a measuring tape on the handle so I can measure out to 25 inches here. We've got the Tuck Fly Shop logo in here. Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of describe
Your
the
name's
net.
on the side of it, too.
That's true, yeah. I've got my name on it.
So he doesn't forget who
I'm
he
gonna
is.
hand it to you. I'm going to hand it to you, and you guys can kind of describe that net there.
This is probably our largest net. We do custom, like you say. I like to say from hoop to handle.
Mm-hmm.
They're all customizable. But you can do longer or shorter handle or whatnot. But this would be our largest model. I call it the BFGN, our big guide net. But this one's made out of a beautiful piece of mahogany. We, like you said, incorporated the measuring stick for you, the logo and your name, so in case you forget who you are, you can always know which net was yours at least. But like I said, it is the largest one. As far as nets go, you're not, unless you go rumbling through rhododendrons.
We'll not talk about that.
Yeah, Dale's done that.
Beat them and abuse them, take them and use them. They're highly durable. They're finished with 10 coats of a proprietary blend
I like it.
of finish for us. That we use, and then water wet sand them in between each coat. So very weather resistant, waterproof, and then I really feel like the layers of finish give it kind of an armor sheeting, so that when you do bang into something, it's inevitable. You're gonna hit rhododendrons, you're gonna hit rocks, stuff like that while you're out fishing. It just dents, and it dents the finish. It doesn't actually tear chunks out of the wood, like if you were to have an oil finish or a tongue oil, linseed oil, anything like that. So, very, like I said, a lot of people always tell us, I don't want to really use it. It's so beautiful.
Right.
Go out there and use it. Find out how durable it is. You can do a lot of what you think damage to it, and find out that you didn't really harm it.
That's right. Well, Josh, tell us who you got with you here today. I'll take that back. Get it out of your
Pass
way.
the wand,
Pass the
sword
wand.
across the table.
This is my partner in crime. I call him a master craftsman.
Okay.
I take care of a lot of the Facebook orders, keeping track of all the different people that we get involved. But the one behind the scenes that really keeps the net orders flowing, from steaming to gluing to filing and everything like that. That's my master craftsman. That's Pops.
Say hey, Pops.
Hey, Pops.
He listened well. He followed instructions.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well,
Sorry, go.
No,
I was
no.
gonna say, so it sounds like you do everything.
I do. I let him handle all the social media. I let him handle all the ordering, basically all the stuff I don't want to do. I spend the majority of my time I spend in the shop.
Oh, that's cool.
Talking
Man.
with you earlier, so it sounds like you get up at 6 and you're in the shop by 7. Josh rolls in about 11.
Yeah, something like
and then
that.
starts dumpster diving for scraps.
Yeah. Wondering why I'm not doing what he thought I should be doing.
Yeah.
So, so tell us a little bit about the origins of Brady's Handmade Nets. Like, where did all this come from? How'd you get started here? Without giving away too much,
I want to know what's in the proprietary blend.
Yeah, that's a
let's
big
get
word.
back into that. Yeah.
That's
I'm joking.
spar lacquer and lacquer thinner.
There you go.
Just a combination of the two to make it flow smooth.
So there's no like raccoon urine or anything like that in it?
No strange things in there like that.
Coco Bolo. That was what we were talking about earlier. Coco
Yeah.
Bolo.
No, how did y'all get started? That's an important question.
He got hurt. He was working as a welder, and he got hurt. And at the time, I was unemployed, and so I was going over to help him during the day before his girlfriend got home. And he said to me one day, laying on his living room floor, he said, "I'm not going back to work as a welder. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to go back to doing that. It's going to be too hard on me." As the days went by, I kept saying to him, "So what are you going to do? What you got to have a plan of some kind."
Yeah.
And so he came up with some ideas, and he said, "Well, you got a wood shop behind the house. Why can't we work? We both need something to do. Why can't we work out of there?" And we started out with kicking around all kinds of ideas about what we should make, and different things like that. And
Did swords ever come into the conversation? I'm just curious.
once or twice,
We
yeah,
did
yeah.
make a sword recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was kind of it was unusual how it happened, I guess. People saw the nets. I had made one. He took mine and lost it. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's
So
actually
it was born out of necessity. It
that's
sounds like.
how the whole net making got started. He had borrowed mine and went fishing and left it on the riverbank somewhere. So he bought me one to replace it. The first time I was out with it, I got tangled up in some roots, tree roots, and
Never done that.
I didn't want
I've
to.
never
I didn't
done
want to go face first into the water, so I threw myself back. And when I did, I landed on that net and broke it.
Oh,
So I said, "Well, I'm not buying another net. I've got a wood shop at home. I'm going to go home and make one."
yeah.
And we made that one. I don't know. I guess I made a couple of them for different people that had saw them.
Mm-hmm.
But he set up the Facebook page, and once he started posting them, more and
Yeah.
more people liked them. And when we first started, we were making nets, but we were making fly boxes and cribbage boards and anything we could come up
Yeah.
with to make.
What was that? Crimmage board?
Cabbage.
Cribbage.
What is that?
A card game.
That
I didn't know.
I was the same way. I was walking through the mess decks one day,
So they
Navy
played this
story.
in the Navy.
and there are
Going
these
down that Navy hole.
there's these sailors sitting on the mess decks at the tables with this wooden
The mess
board
decks.
in cards, and I had never seen that before. And they were doing cribbage tournaments while underway. So I that's how I found out cribbage in the box, and I saw a cribbage box on your website the other day, and I was like, wow, I hadn't seen one of those since I was probably 93, as a matter of fact. So
1999.
Sorry to go down the. I was just. What is that?
So how did you mentioned that you were welding before? How did welding? How does welding come into play here with the nets?
Well,
How does that
along with-
influence?
along with being a welder, you still have some sort of fabrication that goes into it. Usually, you have to tack and everything, so you're still in the building process and not just running beads all day long. So the fabrication, measurements, stuff like that come into play with building the nets and making sure that they all meet a certain diameter. Because there are some places up north that you can only carry a net hoops certain by certain dimensions.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's places, I'm not sure exactly where, but I've had a couple of customers that
Man,
have
talk
said
about regulation.
yeah,
Gosh.
you were only allowed to carry a net that was I think it was 18 by 14. That was the dimensions, 18 inches long by 14 inches, and it couldn't be
So it'd be like a hand
I,
net.
I wouldn't be able to fish
Yeah.
it there. I
Yeah.
catch too many big fish. Like it just wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, you had regulations on the net sizes. So, again, like I said, fabrication does play a part in it. And then when you get into our wood burned images, like your logo on there, a steady hand is imperative with that kind of stuff. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you get goofy lines and stuff.
That's right.
So, I think that really played a part in being able to do those burned images.
Well, one of my first jobs was in a metal fab shop down in Lexington, North Carolina, when they made one of the big things they did was they made racks.
They let you
that-
sweep the floor or something.
They let me sweep the floors and sort the nuts and bolts. Plenty of experience with stay dry. But they made the racks that the Freightliner plant down, I think it's Denver, North Carolina, or somewhere around in there,
Yes.
went around. But there's a lot of talent in what it takes to be a good welder.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty neat that you're able to transfer that over into this hobby and this passion. What so tell us what you've got going on currently with Brady's Handmade Nets. Things you're currently what Bobby's going to flash up some pictures here. Tell us what you got. We saw the guide net. What else we got?
We have a total of 7 different sizes. They range from our smallest is a brookie net, and it's great for stuff like a native brookie out in the high mountains. Stuff you get into like good sized stockers, 15, 16 inch, that'd be our stream. The wade, you start getting into bigger fish, 20, 22 inch fish. And then we also have what we call our coho, our holdover. Again, just kind of increasing in size for a little bit larger fish. And then our steelhead, which is probably our most popular net, is our steelhead net for the guys up north, New York, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. We get a lot of Wisconsin orders. And then after that, you get into our BFGN, And we have one more larger than that for gentlemen up in Newfoundland that we made for. We call the Buck. It's 72 inches in circumference. Believe it or not, I
Holy
can slide that whole hoop over me. It's a huge net.
Is that for like I guess Atlantic salmon?
Yep, big salmon, and then the handle was, I believe, the whole net overall was 6 feet 6 inches long.
Holy moly!
So it was a great big net. That's the one we call the Buck. But like I said, it ranges from small natives to huge Atlantic salmon. We've got everything in between.
So you're not seeing this, but I'm seeing all the nets that are up, and hopefully everybody's seeing these. On the wood burning, is that all burning, or do you use any paint, or is it just kind of like what people ask for? Or
Recently, I've been dabbling in just like colored pencils and some colored Sharpies and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Up until here, probably the last 2 or 3 months, it's all been just wood burn and shading.
You did send me a photo of an image you were working on that was a brown.
Yeah.
And that had color in it, right?
Yeah,
I think I've got that one. It'll be
looks
coming up
awesome.
here. I'm flashing through still
I've
pictures.
got a brown with a couple of red spots on it. I've got a rainbow that I did. I shaded in with colored pencils, light grays and stuff like that. And then I've got an aerial view of a brook trout that I did the vermiculations in a green and
The
yellow.
what?
Vermiculations.
Ooh.
Man, they're using some big terms today.
Upstate South Carolina talks big, folks. Vermiculations. I like that. That's fun to say. Francisco.
Absolutely.
That's a good one right there, man. That thing's.
So if I can ask, and looking at these pictures here, Josh and Mr. Brady,
That one.
all the different types of wood that you have in your nets, where are you sourcing your wood from, and what types of wood are you using in the
Proprietary.
net? And it could
It's
be
all
proprietary, and that's fine. But yeah,
Lowe's.
Yeah, Lowe's.
seen
Lowe's
that
and Home Depot. There's actually a cabinet maker. They just supply like the side panels and knobs and stuff for cabinetry, and they have some individual bins with different types of wood, walnut. It's actually called sapele, the mahogany, but mahogany.
Yeah.
Curly maple, stuff like that we get. I only get my mahogany from them now. I found a lumber yard in Greenville that's about an hour from me, and it's called The Lumber Yard.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's creative.
And, yeah.
But a couple of different places. The Lumber Yard, Woodcraft, which is like a woodworker's hobby store. They got everything from dust collectors to a little plug for Woodcraft. But they also sell board foot of wood. And as far as what we actually make them out of, it's limitless. Our 3 best sellers that we would usually use is the mahogany, a walnut, or a curly maple. But we do offer oak, poplar, red oak, tigerwood, wenge, purple heart.
How about ligerwood?
Liger. I haven't come across a ligerwood yet, but I'll be interested to find one. Maybe they'll be
What's
cross
the
species.
strongest wood that you found to work with?
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's a particular scale that they actually use to test the hardness of wood. I can't remember the name of the scale, but when we were doing stuff for wood for nets like that, especially something that's long like that, you really want to have something that's sturdy, that's got a high tensile strength.
Right.
So mahogany is the go-to for something that's long like that, and definitely has the most rigidity out of any of the woods that we do offer. But like I said, you can go on Woodcraft website and find anything from domestic to exotic and hundreds of species of wood.
So when
in
folks order a
variation,
net,
so.
they can say, "Hey, I want a hand net or a mid-length net, and I want it out of sapele," because that's fun to say too.
Yeah,
Or that they maybe red oak or maple.
yeah. We
Like a
we
baseball
get it-
fan might want a maple.
Yeah, exactly. We did one here recently that was made out of oak. It has the big pores in the grain, and then we dyed it with India ink, which is a very black ink, and then clear coated it. So when it's
that was one of
finished,
the pictures I think I put up.
it looks just like a Louisville Slugger bag.
Yeah.
It has the grain lines.
That thing
in
is
it.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. And then you go, it's for a guy up north, so you put one of them big chrome steelhead in there, and it makes it pop like a light bulb.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
100% of our business is, hey man, can you make one this long, this wide, and this shape with this type of wood, and can you put my company logo on it? Or I did one yesterday that a gentleman sent me a picture of a fish that he had caught recently, and I just printed it out, traced over it again, and wood burned his fish, so he's got a wood burned representation of his trophy fish brown that he caught. So
That's very cool.
That's tremendous.
So tell us what's next for Brady's Handmade Nets. Like what's coming down the pipe, and where do you want to see this thing go?
Well, I'd like to get another hand in there eventually.
Is that a pun intended? Like hand another hand.
I really don't care for the Facebook and all the logistics side of it. I'd rather be in the shop, making sawdust.
Yeah.
So the next couple of years, hopefully we can get a third hand in there to take care of that kind of stuff for us. And I don't really know much about social media and how to do all that kind of stuff.
It's always
to
changing.
really, to really attract people to our site. We're just kind of fiddling through it as best we can. So I'm hoping to get a third person in eventually to take care of the logistics. And then we're just always playing with new designs. Like if you've had them up there, we do the river net with different colored epoxies.
Yeah.
And now we've discovered that there's a machine that you can build, which we did, called a Lichtenberg machine that actually electrocutes and sends an electrical current through the wood. And it has a more lifelike representation of what a river or a tributary would look like. So that's kind of the new one that we're playing with.
Was that the blue thing that flashed up on the pictures?
It very well could have been. Yeah, it was made out of another exotic wood called lace wood. And it had a gentleman's name in the middle. And that Lichtenberg device that we used, like I said, it really gives it a realistic river look. So that's the 2020
to be clear,
model.
we're doing shock therapy on these nets.
Pretty much.
There it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool. Hey, real quick, I'm going to respond to a couple people on Facebook Live that are commented in. So Earl says, good morning to everybody.
Morning, Earl.
He's a
Morning,
regular
Earl.
customer of
Good
ours.
morning,
I
Earl.
thought he was
Morning,
here.
Earl.
It was raining.
Yeah, he should be. And then Joshua Simmons is asking if we missed the fishing report. We're doing the fishing report at the end today, Josh. So just hang on a little bit longer, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But I guess we probably want to jump in and do the little pro tip real fast, take a little break on the interview, and come back in.
That's right.
All right.
Have
I
at
like it. Let me hit some buttons. Hold
Yeah,
on. one second
Bobby's
here.
going to do a thing here, and this has been a great interview so far. And those pictures, I will tell you, they do it a lot of justice, but in person they're even better for sure.
Yeah,
Before we
absolutely.
segue in here into the pro tip of the week.
So the pro tip this week is, being that the water's a little higher and a little stained because we have had some rain this week, which that'll be talked about more here in the fishing report, is use your loop knots. I'm going to flash a video up here of how it works, and you can see how much more movement you get out of the fly if you tie a loop knot. Now, the thing here is, if you go to our YouTube channel, I actually put a video up of how to tie this knot that's in this one. So if you go to Tuckaseegee Fly Shop, on YouTube, you will be able to find that. And in the back end of this video, you see where I tied it with just a clinch knot, and you see how much non-movement you get in that video. So it's just a great little tip to use loop knots on flies that you want to move. And it's not necessarily just for streamers. You can use it for larger nymphs, things like that, even small nymphs if you really wanted to. But it definitely works well with streamers to get that little bit more of a vibration out of the thing. When the water's staying in, the fish can't see your streamer as well, he'll feel that vibration and come check it out. So quick pro tip there, and just wanted to let everybody know that.
Got a question on that.
Yeah.
Can you use that on nymphs?
I just said that.
Yes,
yeah.
that's affirmative, Ghost Rider.
Affirmative. Oh, then
That's
I mean, it was a yes or
Yeah,
no
it
question.
was
The,
yes,
the only
yes.
one I probably wouldn't use it on dry flies, I don't think, but for nymphs, yeah. And I don't know if I'd use it on small nymphs, just because it is it's not that the knot itself's bulky, but the loop makes it bulkier, so it is more visible, I guess, to the fish.
Yeah, right.
If that makes sense. But like for like your girdle bugs and large stonefly patterns and maybe mop flies and things like that.
Certainly woolly boogers.
Yeah.
Is it similar to a perfection loop?
This one is just the non-slip loop, the one I tied there. It's not. It obviously it's a loop, so yes, it's
Right,
similar.
so it's similar, but not
But it's
necessarily tied
different. It's
It'd be hard to get out of the hook through a perfection loop.
Yeah. This one's pretty quick and easy to tie. It's about 90% knot strength.
Okay,
so,
cool. Because that's typically when I go streamer fishing, that's what I use is a perfection loop, and you get into them big 6-inch ones, and it's
That's right. Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah. The big thing on there's a ton of loop knots out there, and saltwater guys obviously use them a lot.
Yeah.
The big thing about a loop knot, and it's hard to show you here. I might pop over to me. When you tie the knot, if the end of my finger is the very end of the loop where your fly would be hanging on, you want it to be straight. Some loop knots, it tilts up or down, so it makes your fly actually ride sideways when you strip it, so it doesn't actually do the motion that you want the fly to do. So there's some loop knots that are great for fishing, and then there's some loop knots that are terrible for fishing, unless you want your fly to ride sideways and look wounded or something like that. There may be a reason to do it. So a lot of those saltwater guys use the specific loop knots because it comes out dead straight, so your streamer sits straight on the loop.
In Pacific loop knot.
Pacific specific.
I think that's one thing there, which is really cool. And Jack and Bobby was coming up with this idea the other day, using the UV light on the mono.
Yeah.
And how
You can see that in this video.
I
That's
tell you,
UV
man,
light on the mono.
The UV on the mono, you can kind of see what mono.
Well,
does
right. Do you
there.
think the trout see it that color?
I don't know if it's blue, right? But I bet it does highlight the mono. I mean,
Is that why? So I mean, that's kind of like what I mean. I wonder what we'd see if we put fluorocarbon up under there. And
Jack, I actually want to do a video on that to show everybody. Jack said it doesn't do it.
So
He
there
said-
you
he
go.
said
That's
it's
why
pretty
you use
amazing.
I use fluorocarbon in everything. That's another pro.
Just
that
one
one's free, folks.
Earl Brinkley, still on here. Appreciate you watching. He said he likes the canoe man loop. Canoe man loop. The tag end is pointing down when you tie it. So
There we go.
I actually don't know that lot. I might have to go look that up and learn it.
YouTube that.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, very nice.
Spelled canoe like I guess what you ride in.
Good job. Good
Yeah.
job.
So-
Good job with that. That was neat to see there, and something I'll have to add to the repertoire. But one of the questions I have for Josh and Mr. Brady is how long is the process from the time that you you start in that to completed production? What amount of time do you have in that?
From start to finish, it's about 3 weeks, but there's a lot of downtime with that. To start it off, once everybody picks whatever material they're going to use, we rip the strips for the hoop, steam those for about 2 hours, and then we'll bend them around a frame, and that gives it its form. But then those steam strips have to completely dry to less than 6% moisture before we can glue them. So once they're dry, usually takes a day or two. If it's cold, it'll take 3 or 4 days. And then we have to glue them. That's usually a day or two. The actual shaping is probably the shortest amount of time. I can do a net like that probably 2 hours, from square billet to completely rounded and sanded.
So that's
down.
like sanding and filing, and then when you say shaping.
Yep. We'll it'll be a square billet, 90-degree sides on it, and we'll run it through a 45-degree router bit, and then we'll take it through a chamfer bit on the handle to really knock off the sides, and then I'll file it and get a good round shape. We'll 60 grit, 120 grit, and 220 grit, and then it's ready for whatever images it's going to get. That usually only takes 2 or 3 hours to get it from square to 220 grit, and then there's about 7 or 8 days of a coat and a finish in the morning, a coat of finish in the afternoon. For 10 coats, 5 to 7 or 8 days to get them all completed. We don't work weekends, so and then 1 day to dry and have all 10 coats cure properly, and then we will take it back down to the shop. We have 2 different types of 2 different compounds that we use to buff it. We'll buff it to 2 different grits, and then I've got another compound that I use that's actually for cars, but I put it on a drill and buff it up one more time to a final shine. So start to finish is about 3 weeks, but there's a lot of downtime that it's just hanging somewhere dry.
Yeah, doing this magic. Yeah, that's cool.
I know we've so to kind of talk about where people can find you. We have had them in the shop before, and it seems like custom nets have not performed as well as we'd hoped in the shop. So what we tried this, I guess spring before last, is we had like a shop takeover, so to speak, where we had probably 8 of your nets on display in the shop, and you could either buy that net display, and what we had the most success was just people going to your contacting you. So tell us how people contact you, where they find you.
You can find us on Facebook, Brady's Handmade Nets, Instagram, Brady's Handmade Nets. We also have a website, bradyshandmadenets.com.
There we go.
And then if you would go to our website, you can reach me through bradyshandmadenets@gmail.com, or you can text me. My phone number's on there just as well.
That's cool.
So Brady's Handmade Nets, just about anything, you can find me.
Where is what's the craziest place you've shipped a net?
I actually looked that up this morning. 10,000 miles away to Australia.
Oh, really?
Yep. We just shipped one not too long ago to Thailand, and I thought that might have been the farthest, but that was only like 8,800 miles.
Holy cow!
Australia was the farthest so far.
That's cool.
10,000 miles.
Here lately, we've been getting hit hard with stuff from the UK for some reason. We have probably 5 or 6 orders on back order right now that are all going to random places in the UK. So
you're still just working in that shop behind your dad's house? Is it to the point where it's like, we need more room, or?
No, we've continued to renovate it over the last 3 years, and just rearranging things, building shelves, hangers, stuff like that, new frames and things. We just added a little bit of an area for a dust collector system and stuff like that. So while we're still in the same building, we're just utilizing the space a little more better. So more better.
More better.
I like it.
I like it. Works.
So I don't think there'd be a reason to actually move out of that shop for a while with as many nets as we're doing right now. We're still not at full capacity as to what we could handle. So we'll be there for a while.
Well, folks, definitely reach out to Brady's Handmade Nets, and we got Father's Day coming up right around the corner. And it's never. I know you guys do a lot of orders around Christmas too. So if anybody out there is thinking ahead, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and get that order in, because Christmas. Tell us about that.
We're at a 6 to 8 week wait time right now. It takes typically, like I said, 3 weeks just to build one. So 6 to 8 weeks before you'd even get yours. We probably wouldn't even touch your net till 3 or 4 weeks into that period. We've got
but you've got a stock of nets ready to ship.
We've got some on stock. There's an in stock page on our website with what we have hanging up that's already completed, and then
so it's more of the custom stuff that's 6 to 8 weeks out. It sounds like
we have stuff right now that if you were to go on the site and order, it's available for same day ship, and typically that's 2-day priority. So you can get that by the weekend, but. If you were looking for something for Father's Day, we're looking at probably 3 weeks till Father's Day.
It'd be tough.
It'd be hard pressed to get something
if it's custom.
Yeah, and obviously, if somebody called and said, "Hey, can I get this custom made for Father's Day?" I'd do it.
Yeah,
I'd put it.
You're about to have 27 people call you.
I'd put in hours to make sure I get it done, and I do deliveries too, especially if you're in the area.
Yeah,
I delivered one to Kings Mountain yesterday.
Okay.
I deliver all the time to different places in North Carolina. One of your buddies, Nick.
I
delivered to him up there at
Lexington.
We met up at Bass Pro Shop.
Oh yeah, that's about
plenty of times I've come out here to the Sylva area to bring stuff to people. So I deliver just as well.
Well, I know that's this is the positive feedback on your nets is not just coming from us. It is my friend Nick. It is our friend Wes. So they sing your praises up and down today. So
we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, greatly. Man, and thank you all for coming up and sitting with us today and telling us your story, man. It's pretty
Thanks
awesome.
for having us. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, that was good, man. I didn't realize how long it took to build one. So that's
Yeah, it's not a slap together process. A lot of people, thankfully, we've had 2 customers that got a little impatient. A little more than a little.
Can't make everybody.
A little more than a little. But out of several hundred nets, everybody's been great with understanding that it's a long process. And when you get other people ahead of you in the line, it's going to take a little bit longer.
There's a rotten apple in every bushel.
Yeah, it really is. Thankfully, we've only had 2 rotten apples in all the bushels.
And that's okay. That's all right. It makes us better.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. You find the things that when people bring it up to you like that, you find stuff you need to improve on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I guess we'll move into our next portion of the show.
fishing report, Dale.
Fishing report.
It's fishing
report.
Oh,
Was that
man,
the
I tell you,
veggie-
man.
No, what is that?
I don't know.
Octonauts.
That is Octonauts.
Yes.
Octonauts, man. I tell you, very nice. Well,
If you have
hey,
children, you know what we're talking
I'm
about.
Shazam. I'm not the cartoon
You are.
lingo
Oh,
thing.
man.
I'm not that. But
Maybe we'll
go
start
ahead.
playing that every time we do a fishing report. The
tell you,
Octonaut song
well,
or something.
it
If there's not royalty rights on it.
There probably
That's
is.
PBS Kids on that one.
Oh,
What do they
man.
call that?
Got a whole new
Creature report. They
demographic.
call it a
Creature report.
Yep.
Creature report.
That's what we should call it. Then. We'll see
Yeah.
if we can get permission on that.
Kind of. It is a creature report.
All right,
in
so we
some
ready
ways.
for fishing report?
Yeah, man, go for
Okay,
it. Tell us what's
so,
going on.
You know, we started the week out this week. They were calling for 4 to 6 inches of rain over. You know, it's one of those things, sensationalized weather headlines. It's like 4 to 6 inches of rain to hit Western North Carolina. But when you look at the story, it's over 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
And so we're into the 4th of the 6th, and Messrs. Maynard has 2 inches of rain. He's
2
holding
inches.
up 2 right now.
Two.
So, you know, the rivers and creeks, they're stained. But we found out Monday, Bobby and I were wrapping up a trip out at Thunderstruck. The hatches were strong. You're seeing a picture of some of the bugs. But we had, we landed some nice fish Monday morning in dirty water. So we were nymphing, throwing girdle bugs with something a little flashy behind it. And that proved to be outstanding. Now, last week, leading up to this front coming in, the weather was just phenomenal. I mean, and that created some stellar fishing conditions. I think we had a float there Saturday and Sunday, and between the 2 days, we probably had 200 fish in the boat. So it was pretty outstanding. And some of those were on dries. I know, you know, going back to my buddy Nick there, he came up and Nick loves dry fly fishing.
Yeah.
And
Who
so
doesn't?
I think we kind of talked on the last show about how the Tuckaseegee gets overlooked for its dry fly fishing capabilities, and it's because it's like people want to fish at banking hours. You know, they want to be out there 8 to 5, 9 to 5. Some of them are out there with a guide from 8 to 1 or 8 to 5, and it's the best part of the Tuckaseegee in the spring, going into early summer, is between 5 o'clock and dark. And Nick, I just wrapped up a
Preach
trip.
it, brother. Preach it.
We had to go back.
He's got
to,
applause going.
Preach it,
Oh,
man.
is it?
Preach it, man.
I don't have my
Preach
headphones on
it,
today.
brother.
So that those particular floats, I would have rather been out there, but we had to. It was a Thunderstruck lodge trip, so we got back to the lodge for dinner, and Nick called me. He's like, "Hey, man, where do I need to be?" And I was like, "Dude, you just need to pick a spot and go with it, because if you keep moving around, you're going to miss this thing." And he ended up in the right spot, and I think in that window of 6 to 8:30, I think he told me he landed 15 fish or so. That was just in that window. He caught a mess of others throughout the day, but no, the creeks are doing really well right now. Scott's Creek right now, we prefer it with a little color. It kind of gives us some cover. So Shannon and I have talked extensively about the benefits of a little bit of water on that creek. So West Fork of the Pigeons fishing great. Upper Nantahala doing really well. I'd say, folks, just know your limits on your wading. Don't hesitate to use that wading staff. If you don't have a wading staff, come check one out from us and see what we've got there to help you. I know one way I use these big, long guide nets is it has a long handle. If I'm in trouble somewhere, I don't like to do it, but if I need to, I will lean on this guide net. So, and it can get me through, some trouble if I'm in waist deep or so in a pretty fast current. So, that's another benefit of having that long handle net, not just
certainly.
a guide. So yeah, that's the report for me. Hatches, Yellow Sallies are out. Like
I've seen them with
Cahill.
Shannon.
I have seen the Yellow Sally.
I've seen 'em.
I did see the Yellow Sally. So
Yep.
that, and actually seen some yellow mayflies the other evening
Seeing
on
some
the
sulfurs.
Tuck as well.
Light
So,
Cahill's probably the best hatch in that evening is the Light Cahill.
yes.
So,
I agree. I agree.
Joshua Simmons is asking us about Deep Creek and Nolan Creek. The hatches are out. With the rain, it may be a little higher than normal over the next day and a half, but like we're talking right now, yellow sallies and stuff. I'd bring everything you got that's yellow, cream,
caddis.
and maybe even that kind of like pale to bright green colors. Even I'd bring all that with you.
And Josh, I'd fish dry fly first on any creek right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with
Tuck,
that.
I would start nymphing, but if you're on any of these creeks, dry fly first.
Casey had really good success yesterday on cream caddis.
Yeah.
Cream body caddis. And it's, in my opinion, and I've said it for years, these few weeks we're getting ready to hit into as we roll into June, the next couple of weeks, first 2 weeks of June, can be some of the best dry fly fishing of the year.
Yeah,
That's right.
You just have to be here to experience it.
Yeah, that's it.
definitely. Well, before we hit the closing here, we're about to. I just want to say one thing about the. It's a little teaser for next week about the show sponsored by CE Tech Innovations. Next week we'll be reviewing some of their stuff. I think for the next 2 weeks, next 2 episodes we'll be reviewing. So definitely tune into those. You probably will want to. We'll try to do it on Facebook Live too, but if you want to go back and watch it over and over and again, definitely check it out on our YouTube channel. Because you'll actually be able to see the products and kind of hear our feedback and stuff on it. So, little teaser there before we hit the closing here, but we'll let Shannon take it home.
Yeah, absolutely. On behalf of everybody in this room, we appreciate you driving up here today from South Carolina, and certainly was educational for me. And I think we all echo the same sentiments that you gentlemen are providing a memory that's going to be handed down for a lifetime. And for that, we applaud you for taking that challenge on in a difficult time there for sure. A lot of folks are afraid to take that step, but you guys did it, and it's working out fantastic. But anyway, it's time to close this bad boy out there. Thanks for listening to the Tuckcast with a Splash of Bourbon, sponsored by CE Tech Innovations. Make sure you follow Tuckaseegee Fly Shop on all the major social media platforms for the latest happenings and latest videos. Have a question or comment? Send them to info@tuckflyshop.com or via snail mail. Tuck Fly Shop, 530 West Main Street, Sylva, North Carolina, 28779. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Tight lines, everybody.